Hello and welcome to PMCLounge.com. Today we are discussing the make or buy decision analysis. This is one of the tools and techniques in the procurement management knowledge area. As always, if you're into reading articles, first link in the description is going to take you to an article about this topic over at our official website pmclounge.com. Also, if you want to go over every single video that we have done on procurement management knowledge area, second link in the description will take you to that YouTube playlist. So two important links, check them out. Let's get started. So make or buy analysis is one of the most important tools and techniques of the plan procurement management process. If you have already forgotten, this is what I'm talking about. Plan procurement management. This process falls in the planning process group and procurement management knowledge area, of course. So one of the tools and techniques, actually the most important tools and techniques of this process is the make or buy decision analysis. So this basically means figuring out whether you should be contracting the work or doing it yourself. As simple as that. Do you want to contract it out to a third party vendor or do you want to do it yourself? That's the decision you need to take using the make or buy analysis tool. Now, another way of looking at this is to consider whether you want to create your own solution or buy one that is already available. So does it make sense for you to create a new solution, or does it make sense for you to buy one which is already available in the market and solve your problem? That's the question here. All right, before moving further, I'd quickly like to remind you, if you're looking for book recommendations for the PMP exam, head over to pmclounge.com/resources. That's where we have listed our favorite books. Hundreds of aspirants have cleared their PMP exam using these resources. Okay, so let's look at some of the scenarios where you would take the decision to make something in-house, make a solution in-house, write a piece of code in-house, or maybe create an equipment in-house that will be used for your project. So when are you going to take that decision? If it is less costly, so if it costs less dollars to make something in-house rather than buy it, then yeah, it makes sense to take the decision to make rather than to buy. Easy fitment or integration in the current systems. If it's easier for you to make something in-house so that it fits or it integrates in the current systems seamlessly, then of course go for the make decision. If the suppliers that are available out there, if they are unreliable, you don't know you cannot trust them in terms of the quality of whatever product that you want or whatever solution that you want, or if they are unable to serve you, so you don't necessarily have any supplier if they are unable to serve you, right? So that's when you need to take the make decision. Utilize existing resources that have bandwidth available. This could be both human resources as well as physical resources. If they are not being utilized up to the bandwidth that they have, then obviously you can make use of them and create something in-house. Take the make decision rather than the buy decision. Maintain control over the solution and thus maintaining confidentiality. This is important. If the component that you want to be created is something that is a confidential in nature, right? That's something that cannot be exposed to the suppliers or to the market in general, then obviously you have to take the make decision, even if it costs more, even if you don't have the resources available. But when it comes to confidentiality, when it comes to secrecy, obviously you have to make it in-house. Think of it like the secret sauce of a fast food joint, right? If it's a secret sauce, secret being the keyword here, if it's secret, it cannot be sourced from somewhere else because it won't be a secret anymore then, right? Let's move on and see when the buy decision makes sense. The buy decision, if it's less costly to take the buy decision, then you can go ahead and take it. Remember, the first point in the make decision was also less costly. So cost is definitely a big factor when taking the make or buy decision. Suppliers have better skills than you do. If the product that you're looking for, right? Let's say you are creating a website and you need a piece of code which is, let's say, e-commerce integration. So if you're looking for e-commerce integration and the suppliers, there are certain suppliers out there that have expertise in e-commerce integration, while you, on the other hand, your team does not even have the basic training of e-commerce integration, then it makes sense to take the buy decision, get the experts on board and let them do their job. Get more than one vendor on board. This is also important. So the e-commerce integration that you're looking for, let's say it has three different modules. You have an option to involve three different vendors who have respective expertise so that the end solution is the best of the lot, unique and best of the lot, right? So you can actually get more than one vendor on board if you take the buy decision. If you take the make decision, it's only you who need to do everything here. Smaller volume required. So if you need this e-commerce integration only once, no other project requires this, then what's the point of getting your team members trained on e-commerce integration and wasting all that money? Instead, you can take the buy decision, buy it one time and be done with it. But if the e-commerce integration was the need of the hour, if 10 other projects in your organization require that module, then it definitely makes sense to take the make decision. Get your team trained and, you know, integrate e-commerce in all other 10 projects as well. That's when taking the make decision will make more financial sense rather than the buy decision. Reverse engineering opportunity. So in terms of this e-commerce integration, when you get the piece of code from your supplier, your engineers can do reverse engineering and learn this on their own as well. This is something that applies to products. This is something that applies to almost everything. So there is an opportunity of reverse engineering when you're taking the buy decision. Now, of course, there are other questions as well, other than the ones that we have already discussed, that you need to consider while making the make or buy decision. For example, how will this decision impact the schedule, cost, scope, and quality of your project, the constraints of your project, right? So let's say you take the make decision, but you realize that your project doesn't have the time that the vendor is asking for, or your project doesn't have the cost that the vendor is looking for, right? So these are the constraints, these are the questions that you need to ask yourself when you're doing the make or buy analysis. Also, there are some resources like heavy equipment, which is always better to rent or lease instead of buying or creating, especially if they are to be used only once. So this is something that we discussed, sort of touched upon in the previous slide as well. If your project requires heavy equipment which will be used only for your project, then it makes sense to take the buy decision, which is renting or leasing in this case, rather than taking the create decision, taking the make decision. So that's all that we had in this video. I hope make or buy decision analysis is clear. Smash that like button if you got value out of it. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to stay notified whenever we upload new content. Also, don't forget to check out the website pmclounge.com, your number one free PMP resource. Thank you and have a nice day.